1. Welcome to the Wisconsin Manufacturing and Technology Show, live from State Fair Park in West Allis, Wisconsin. I'm Ben Sherman, and this is being presented by the Arnett Group. With us today is Scott Arnett, the president and CEO of the Arnett Group. And we are joined today by Joe Unger, the VP of Business Development for Valtus. And what we're focusing on today is Valtus's partnership, as well as Arnett Group's, with Marquee and Smart Cellular, and the great things that are happening with IoT and 5G, et cetera. And gentlemen, thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Joe, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about how Valtus works with Marquee and what the three main pillars of Marquee's business are, and let's start there.
That sounds good. Thanks, Ben. Our relationship with Marquee is they're one of our partners in this space. They have a very unique set of technology that we see a big future in. The development of the smart cities and the IoT is really coming down the threshold in our environment and in our ecosystem. And Marquee really they design, install, implement, and repair and service their modular 5G smart city solutions. And it's made up of three primary components. They have a smart cell, which is their 5G tower. They have a smart node, which is a connection, kind of like a sister solution to the tower, where it's a lighting infrastructure for street lights to enhance the street lights, to add security elements, Wi-Fi repeater nodes, and also attached to the 5G tower. So it becomes this full network of 5G towers, lighting infrastructure, another tower, lighting infrastructure. It becomes this full mesh network of infrastructure that's installed, all like I said, designed, installed, and controlled by Marquee. The one thing that's very unique about their solution and deployment is they went down the path of aesthetically pleasing solution. So instead of having a kind of a standard tower, looks very industrial, when we talk about smart cities and going down Main Street, that technology has to make a shift. Most municipalities aren't going to enjoy littering their streets with these standard industrial towers, because they're going to be like a street pole. They're going to be everywhere along the city blocks, where Marquee saw that need and opportunity, and then said, we can build the same similar tower to deploy for the 5G, but how can we make it a win-win for the municipalities and even the consumers walking the streets? So they went down the path of adding an element to cover their towers with a skin that can be sold or utilized for marketing purposes, or branded for an individual company's sake. So it kind of hides and disguises the technology from looking like a standard industrial tower to looking more. It blends into more of the surrounding that it's going to be installed in. And then in conjunction with, like I mentioned, their lighting infrastructure, it really ties together, and they have a full solution to combat the challenges that the IoT smart cities are going to be facing.
A number of different technologies, different value you can offer your customers. Tell us your relationship with Valtus and with Marquee here.
Absolutely. So being a company, we're bringing to the table the technology components that's going to be at the bottom of the tower. So the liquid cooled server in a NEMO box mounted at the bottom of the tower to provide that compute power as needed. So whether it's for the 5G components, the autonomous driving cars, down to helping to do the digital signage, the display, what's being put up on those monitors and when, those types of things. So what we bring to the table is the compute power technology, if you will, to the solution that Marquee's putting in with Valtus, and providing that support and installation and stuff. So
where technology is going, isn't it, Joe? IoT, and Scott had a great term before, making IoT usable. To the end user. Go a little deeper into that. and how this is helping, in particular, municipalities
Right.
and that sector.
That's a great question, Ben. There is a big shift, and IoT, kind of means different things to different people, but really, in its core, it's every device is connected to the network and communicating back its data set points, whether it's control, just simple control of that device and mechanism, or providing real-time data could be for public safety. And that's leads me to what the value for a municipality is it's multifaceted benefits. If we think about the future of downtown dense metropolitan areas, the smart city technology and all these different devices and smart cars and smart delivery mechanisms, they all need to communicate to a network real time, very fast, low latency. And the only way to make that real is to put the network infrastructure right there on top of these devices. And then some of the value add is to the municipalities, it can help with security because we can put cameras in these components. We can put speakers, we can put different environmental sensors in there, and then that can provide good data set points to the counties and cities to help protect their streets better, help make it a safe place to live and thrive and do business in.
Scott, security is one of your specialties. When it comes to IoT, and of course all the different nodes and factions communicating with one another, how do you keep that all secure?
Right. So there's to the security around that, everything from encryption to real-time monitoring and some other safeguards that we don't want to disclose, but that's going to be put into the network that has to provide that layer of security and control, right? So especially as we get more and more of the general public relying on that network, and how are they using that 5G, and their cars are using that 5G technology and stuff. And then you have to be able to ensure the security and the safety of that network. So so that's very much built into the ground up. So,
question for you, Joe. You're talking about the 5G and you're talking about the smart cities. Sometimes, and this is certainly not to be a political discussion, but it's hard to get municipalities and states and cities, et cetera, to move on it. Have you been? What have been the factors in getting agreement between those who work for a city, those who are the politicians who make the decisions? I mean, where has the value prop come to make everybody facing the same direction and getting these done in the various municipalities?
Yeah, no, that's a key element, and there is always that give and take, and it seems to be their big push and what they really appreciate and like about the solution on the security element of the streets, putting the cameras in there, even down to the technology can even have another advantage on bus route and public transportation, that these towers have an element of a component of a terminal or a smart kiosk. So say it's at a bus terminal or it could be at a dense corner of a metropolitan area, and that's a typical bus depot. This tower can be deployed there. At the base of it, we could put a digital touchscreen that people can interact with and get their bus route information. We've talked to the municipalities about they could be interactive and share historical locations. So say someone's in town with their family and they're touring and they're there for to enjoy what that town has to offer. Now they can walk around the streets, interact with these kiosks, and now find like this historic building or this historic site, and now kind of help navigate and just make this a very safe, economical deployment of the technology. So the technology is working for the municipalities and how they're trying to grow their cities and still drive traffic into those communities. It goes hand in hand with it.
Go a little further into the streetlights. You have an example here at the show.
Yep.
And how it's not just the normal streetlight, what the efficiencies are.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It still provides the illumination like they're meant to do, and it adds some elements and also some additional features. It's a 5G signal. It also can do a Wi-Fi type of signaling as well. So you can now, because a lot of cities have that today. A lot of metropolitans deployed a 5G citywide network years ago. So that's something they're counting on, wanting to further expand wanting to further add more components and lower the latency, so increase the speed in which that can communicate, so the light infrastructure can help add more nodes, add more coverage to their already deployed network, and enhance that visibility. And then on the security side of it, putting cameras in there, watching the streets, keeping them safe. And then the nice thing with this solution is a lot of cities already have it. They have a street light, and then right below, you'll see a lot of people recognize them. They can put a bunch of components, whether it's Wi-Fi, security, right below the light, but now it adds a distraction or an element of that doesn't look aesthetically pleasing to the community and to the residents and even the people making those decisions, where this technology, all of that is embedded within the light, and it just becomes now back to a standard light with smart technology right inside the cover in the case, and it takes the components off of the pole, puts it where it needs to be, making it aesthetically pleasing, and then it kind of just kind of blends in and kind of disappears.
Scott, excuse the voice. Scott, when you're consulting in something like this, what are some of the questions that you typically get from people in municipalities, or we'll talk about the Brookfield Zoo a little bit in larger installations. What are some of the problems they're trying to solve that you work with them on?
Right. So a lot of it, general public safety comes up. How can we leverage and use this technology for the benefit of the general public around safety? But then there's also a lot of conversations around how can we better life for the citizens in the city, whether it's downtown to direct them to food and beverage type establishments, maybe upcoming events to tell them where to park.
Nice.
For different things that are maybe going on downtown at the park, or festivities, that they can set up temporarily traffic directions for parking, telling people where to go, those types of things. But then also, as we get more and more cars and people using 5G for GPS tracking and GPS directions and where do I go, where do I find, where am I at, that type of stuff, they really like that. So they always have the conversation around how is this going to benefit us and what can we leverage on this. And then, of course, there's always the conversation around, is there opportunity for a revenue stream? We're offering this 5G network, whether it's ads, whether it's other services that they can tack on to that 5G network, or even to the camera services. So they're interested in that and then exploring what else they can capitalize on from the technology. One of the things that before leverage all of the technology in the light fixture. So at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, I could turn that light off, save the electricity, stay green. I don't need the light on anymore, but I'm going to leverage the camera to detect motion. And as soon as I see motion, there's a dog, a cat, somebody walking, somebody driving, I turn the light back on for a period of time and that type of stuff. So it saves the fact of power for powering that light, but they're looking for ways that I can really capitalize on this technology that's built into this light and think outside of the box. So that's exciting to see and have those conversations and out with them to say, what are all the different avenues we can explore to leverage the technology?
We talked about briefly the Brookfield Zoo and what you've got going down there outside Chicago.
Yes.
It looks so cool. I saw some pictures of it, what they've done with the towers and making it aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
So that's kind of an example of it, isn't it?
It is. It's a great example. It's only been installed in about 30 days, 30 to 45 days it's been up, and they've already gotten great feedback from some of their customers talking about how cool the towers look because they've been branded with the zoo's information. They have the different animals' faces plastered all over there, different ideas. And at the bottom portion of it, they turned it into a little bit of a directional guide. So you can walk up to the towers and see, and it's pointing you and telling you this part of the zoo, walk this way. And it's been very informative as well as a useful technology for the zoo and its network capabilities, and also helping its consumers, because now as their customers come in, they have now this network distributed across their zoo. The consumers are going to get a better performance, better experience as well.
There are other areas we haven't covered regarding a smart city that Valtis or Arnett or Marquee would be involved in.
Is like a specific city or?
Or anything we haven't covered under the umbrella of smart city? It's
Yeah.
pretty much those three pillars.
It is. Yep. Those three. And the one I guess I didn't quite clearly identify. The third one is that it is another 5G tower, but doesn't have the aesthetically pleasing element to it. So if someone doesn't care for the extra added features and benefits of the smart cell, they call it the small cell. So it can go up a little bit faster. It takes up some of the bells and whistles away, and that's just another solution to add into the network of products that they have to meet the needs of certain different deployments.
Yeah.
Just to get your thoughts, you've been in the business for some time, and the Internet of Things, again, making it more usable, this is really coming to fruition now. The concept's been around a while, but something that is that plain and that user-friendly is very encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. It's technology now, and it's changing everyday life, right? So it's whether it's interaction with an individual to make life easier and better for them or for the city as a whole. But it's really taking that IoT technology now that has been, on the whiteboard and in the labs, and now really putting it out there and being able to apply it to benefit everyday life is exciting to see, and it's exciting to be part of. And so we really look forward to see it continue to develop and grow, and to see how it's going to improve our daily lives. So.
And one of the biggest things is improving public safety.
Yes. Right.
And that's what this does. So this is fascinating. So, gentlemen, if people want more information, first, Joe, with Voltus, and want more information on this, how would they contact you and Voltus?
Yeah, they can reach out to me. I can provide my information on a link website, www.voltus.com. And then our contact information is available on there.
And Scott, the Arnett Group.
Yeah, absolutely. So on our website, there's a request for information form out there at arnettgroup.net. Otherwise, you can always email sales@arnettgroup.net or call us at 920-261-2036.
The city of the future is finally here, and we want to thank Joe Unger from Voltus and your work with Marquee, Scott Arnett, of course, sponsoring this, the Arnett Group. We are live from the Wisconsin Manufacturing and Technology Show at State Fair Park. I'm Ben Sherman. Thanks so much for joining us.